Hello and welcome back to Eventual Digressions. I'm going to speak about the incredible match that took place between Manchester United and Olympique Lyon in the Europa League for qualification for the semi-finals. And it was absolute madness. Before I get into that, I would really request you to smash the like button, subscribe, and spread the love, help my channel grow, and hopefully come back for more such interesting commentary on the great game of football. So let's start. Where to start? First of all, I don't know if you have checked out the preview that I did for this game. No way I was expecting anything like this, because I just did not anticipate these many goals in the game, owing to Manchester United's goal scoring issues, which is pretty obvious. My prediction was a 1-1 leading to a penalty shootout and Manchester United edging it, but this was unprecedented because this is the first 9 goal stunner of a match in the Europa League competition's history. So of course it's very difficult to predict, but I have to say, for a neutral, although I'm a Liverpool fan and not really a neutral, but for a neutral, I think it was a hell of a game. It showed that football is not necessarily always interesting with the teams who are in the upper echelons at this moment. There can be a great game of football between any team, and also football is a very flawed game. That's why it's so interesting from time to time. The recent football strategies, which are based on absolute very structured tactics, especially started by Pep Guardiola, which is great, which is very successful, but kind of, in my opinion at least, taken away from the magic that football emanates in terms of the unpredictability, the flair, the individualism sometimes in the team sport. So this game was a clear example of that, right? Because let's start with Olympique Lyon, right? I was really surprised as to how direct they were in Old Trafford. They were super direct, and they were repeatedly, I think it's part of the strategy, but they were repeatedly trying to break the lines. They were forcing it a little too often and turning over the ball all the time. And yes, they play out from the back, but sometimes they were taking very, very unnecessary risks near the penalty box. And it was, to be honest, sometimes felt utterly suicidal. Like, what was the plan? Because when you are not able to keep hold of the ball and turning it over all the time, then you might as well clear the ball when you are so close to the penalty box, being pressed by 3 Manchester United players, right? So it was a little it was a little surprising, because I felt that they had a much more controlled build-up in the first leg. They could control the game more. They were being direct. They were mixing it up more. They were not forcing the issue so much as they were doing in this game. I don't know if they thought of a different strategy to go about it, or maybe utilize the big pitch that Old Trafford is. But it seemed a little strange, because that was the case for almost, I would say, 60% of the game, that Lyon was trying to force the issue a little too much and turning over the ball, right? But forget about that. I shouldn't have started with Lyon, to be honest, because as a pure football fan, it is incredible feeling, and me as a Liverpool fan, I'm quite aware of that feeling. It's almost addictive if you win a football game like this. Doesn't matter how you won it, doesn't matter what circumstances you were in, but if you win a game in the last minute when you literally thought that you were out of a competition like Europa League. You literally thought you were flatlining like that. It is absolutely incredible, especially if you come back, from behind, like that. It is, and it's hard to describe the feeling that you get, the adrenaline that flows through your body as a fan, for the players. It's highly inspirational, to be honest, and no matter how much luck is involved, or you know it is still a good show of mentality. And that is something that has been complained of this Manchester United team time and time again. And I feel that in this game they kind of showed that they're playing for the manager. Yes, they need better players, but they are playing for the manager. And yeah, it was stunning. Obviously, I was really stunned when Harry Maguire scored that header, because at least I thought it's heading to the penalty shootout, because the score was 5-4 in the end, and 9 goals total in this game. But how? I mean, how did it come down to like extra time, scoring that many goals? It is just it was just kind of a revelation, to be honest. The extra time, sometimes, most of the times, and none of the players seemed tired as well. At least that tired. I didn't see a lot of people cramping out or stuff like that. So one thing I can say though, that I think both teams ran quite a bit in terms of pressing and playing throughout the game. But it was really surprising that they were not as tired as they should have been. Yeah, so let's dissect the game, right? I think Manchester United had a pretty good start to the game. They were actually hitting Lyon in phases, and in between, when Lyon had the ball, they were not able to do anything unless Lyon was turning the ball over. So it was really weird, because I thought Garnacho will be not starting the game and will start as a impact, will get into the game as an impact sub, but he did start the game. And straight away, I think Manchester United had a couple of really good chances, with Bruno as usual being involved. He had a great game. I feel Bruno had a great game, and again he was involved in the pass that was placed to Garnacho, who really took it on the stride, beat 2 defenders and cut it back perfectly for Ugarte to do a simple tap in. That was beautiful. I just wonder, why doesn't Garnacho do that more often? In the same game, in this game only, he had at least 2 to 3 other opportunities to pass the ball, to let go of the ball instead of taking a stupid shot, which won't lead to anything. And he doesn't do that. When he does that, he's incredible. So I think it's a matter of Amorim kind of sitting him down and asking him that if he can be a team player, if he can utilize his talent and to the extent to help the team. And this is a team sport. This is not a individual sport, and I don't think he's a good enough finisher, at least at this point of time, to be that selfish, right? Yes, I think he idolizes Cristiano Ronaldo, and Cristiano Ronaldo used to play like this when he was younger, but he quickly changed his ways. If you remember, he was passing the ball quite a bit, and he was an incredible finisher. I am talking about at this age, in his early 20s. So yeah, the kid Garnacho, he has a lot of talent, but if he continues to play like this, in terms of like not passing the ball, not being a team player, I think he will be sold. But if he can change his ways, to show something else in the remaining games in the season and in also post-season, he might be worth retaining. So that's one beautiful goal by Ugarte. And then I think Casemiro had a really good chance in the middle, where He tested the keeper, great keeper by the way, very young keeper. I think he's broken into the Brazilian team squad. So yeah, and also then uh, a brilliant ball by Dalot over the top with a spectacular volley hitting the crossbar by Bruno Fernandes. Man, that this guy has got some talent, but yeah, this time it didn't pan out, or else it would have been one of the goals of the season for sure. And after this whole period of flurry, I think Lyon had a dominant period. Chérki and Tolisso played really well, combined really well, and even you know um, Tagliafico got into the game quite a bit. Maitland Miles were combining really well with Chérki. I think both of them have got really good chemistry. So yeah, I mean they were playing really well. Onana had to make a couple of saves here and there, but in the end, it was really weak from Tagliafico when he couldn't stop Dalo from turning on him, and a brilliant finish by Dalo to make it 2-0 in the second leg. And at this point of time, you're thinking, well, this is Lyon, so this is Old Trafford. I think from this point of time, Manchester United is almost through, but because Lyon was losing the ball so often by playing so direct, so I did feel that okay, this game is done. I think it is one of those games where after this Manchester United will stink it out in defense and there will be no way in. But no, that's not to be. That's not to be, right? First of all, Tolisso got a really soft yellow card by tripping Garnacho in a very non-threatening position, almost in Lyon. I mean Manchester United's half, and it was a little bit of a coming together or accidentally hitting the Garnacho stride. But it was silly yellow card which would have anyways made him miss the first leg of the semi-finals had Lyon qualified. Okay, so that was that. But then Tolisso was the person who got the team on board. Once Lacazette came into the field, as I said, as an impact sub, he was brilliant. He was making more problems for the Manchester United defense. He had that key flick on header, which kind of helped Tolisso score the first headed goal, I think in the 72nd minute. And then in the 78th minute, they scored again, right? It was a really good. I think Fofana was creating a lot of problems. Fofana, Chérki, and Lacazette, they and Tolisso, they combined and really kind of controlled the game in an attacking way for Lyon. And the second goal was scored by Tagliafico, which was again Fofana had a big role to play in that. And suddenly it's 2-2, and when the moment this happens, 2-2 happens, you have a feeling that this Manchester United team will crumble, right? Because this Manchester United team really crumbles under pressure. But on top of that, I think the biggest turning point of the match was the red card to Tolisso. I think that's one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in my life. Without any bias, neutrally, I feel that's the softest decision in such a critical game that I've seen in my life. Because there was hardly anything. In that yellow card, and I think he had a slight coming together with Yoro, and it was deemed as a yellow card, and he got 2 yellows, so he was off. And that was a turning point, because although Lyon will take the lead again in extra time, that is something which gives Manchester United hope right? But yeah, Chérki scored that brilliant goal. What a player, man! He is Chérki, Ryan Chérki. I think he should be a very hot prospect. He's very. I've heard he's available for allegedly 25 million euros. So that is peanuts for a player like this. He's 21. He seems to be a very intelligent player. He doesn't seem to be too selfish. He passes at the right time as well. He he feels like Eden Hazard's second coming, to be honest. And he seems to have really good finishing as well. Even that other run that he had, dribbling wise the other day, incredible player, very smart, very intelligent, really can move around, play in triangles, and really helps progress the ball. So I think Churkey should be hot in this summer's market, and I would love Liverpool to get him. And 25 million? Are you kidding me? Just bring him on board. He seems great. He seems great. Brilliant finish by him, and then the penalty, right? I think Luke Shaw gave away the penalty, and Luke Shaw I think he's not completely fit. He seems a little bit rusty and a little bit missing a step, little bit slow. So Luke Shaw, the penalty happened and Lacazette scored the penalty, and suddenly it is game on, right? It's 4-2. It is 4-2. So from this point, I think Lacazette scored in the 109th minute. From this point, no one expected Manchester United to win. But as a Liverpool fan, I know what it means if your team wins from this. If you remember the game against Borussia Dortmund that Liverpool had, I believe it was in the semi-finals of the Europa League, and that was not even a great Liverpool team, right? It was, I think, Klopp's first year where he managed the half season, or max to max second year, but I think it's his first year. And we were 3-0 down and we came back to win 4-3 in a single game. That feeling was something else, right? Similarly, obviously, the famous Barcelona game where Liverpool came back, the Champions League final in 2005. I know I'm giving a lot of Liverpool examples, but I feel that we are the specialist club at this. So to come back to win a game like this from Manchester United at this stage, when they're down 4-2 in the 109th minute of extra time, is incredible. And who knew that the trigger for all this will be Casemiro? Who knew that? Because first of all, he got the penalty, which again I feel it's a very soft penalty. Almeida was trying to clear the ball clearly, and he kind of hit Casemiro below his boot. In my experience, if you play football, I think the person who hits you under your studs is a person who hits you. That person gets hurt, not the person who's hit under the studs, right? So I feel it's more like Almeida will be hurting after that. But anyway, the penalty was given. It still can be given. It's soft, but it's not as bad as the second yellow card for Tolisso. And brilliant penalty by Fernandes, even though Perry, I think, guessed the right direction. And from then it was game on, and I think Lyon became really shaky, very loose. Brilliant, a one-touch pass by Casemiro again towards Manu. And what a player, man! What a player Manu is, because to keep that kind of calm and bend the ball down the back of the net at that moment in the 120th minute, in a game which is kind of the season ender if the Manchester United loses. What kind of stakes were there? And this 19-year-old Manu, who some United fans allegedly wants out, drove it home. I think Kobe Manu is one of the most talented kid midfielders to have come up, from any club's youth system at this moment, and Manchester United should try to keep him at any cost. What a goal, what a celebration with the AK-47 you know, like going. It was brilliant. It was brilliant to see. As a lover of football, I think it is brilliant to see whether it's happening to your rival or not. And then came the false nine or striker Harry Maguire, playing as United striker at that time. Brilliant ball over the top. These are the balls which Garnacho never plays. Looking up quickly and playing a ball over the top. As I said in the preview again, that Lyon concedes a lot of headed goals. They have conceded, I think, 10 headed goals this season before that goal, because they're not really good at defending in the air or closing down crosses. So that's exactly what Casemiro did. Brilliant cross and a spectacular goal by Harry Maguire. And Harry Maguire has been the standout performer apart from Bruno Fernandes for Manchester United this season. You have to give him that. And there has been a lot of memes on him. There has been a lot of banter made out of his name, and probably he deserves a lot of it. But this season he's really stood his ground and played well. So 5-4 United win. But still, it's brilliant day for United fans, and as fans, they should only take the positives, because they won in spectacular fashion, and they play Atletico Bilbao next, which is going to be a tough, challenge, because they are the bookies' favorite. Atletico Bilbao, the bookies' favorite to win this tournament. So, yeah. On the other hand, Spurs go through as well against Eintracht Frankfurt, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think I don't know, man. I can never bet on Spurs winning any cup before I see it happen with my own eyes. So if it's an all English final, then I think it's Manchester United's cup. So huge game to keep the season alive. And although, as you can see, there are lots and lots of weaknesses in United's game, but it is what it is. They are still in the Europa League. They have reached the semi-finals, and let's see what happens. Thanks. I'll finish the video here. I hope you enjoyed the content. Again, please like, subscribe, spread the word, spread the love, and stay honest, stay humble. See you soon.